Greetings, greetings, and more greetings. This is Professor Lorenzo McCoy here, coming to you from HealThyselfUniversity.net, the place where you go to find out how to get in shape, lose that weight, and be healthy for the rest of your life in 30 days and beyond. Before I do my daily affirmations, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick video, another video once again. People just can't get Umar Johnson off of their minds. Dr. Umar Johnson. And for those of you who don't know and haven't gotten the update, he really is a doctor. He did get his doctorate degree. There was a couple of persons, I believe there was a brother from one of the Roots magazines or something like that, who had to apologize because he jumped on the bandwagon like a lot of other people. But once he started doing his research and called out to the schools and got the facts back, that yes, indeed, he did get his doctorate degree. And without going that deep into it, a lot of people don't really get what he's been trying to explain to people, because most of the people doing the talking aren't psychologists and never went to school. Most people don't really know the difference between graduating. Just like you can graduate and go to school to be a lawyer, but that doesn't make you a lawyer. A lot of people don't get that, because you have to actually finish up to be certified and actually pass the bar and things like that. There's a lot of people who don't get, you can go to school for 4 years to be a doctor, but after you do that, then you're accepted into a med school, then you do the med school, then you have to do a couple of years residency under a doctor, and then, you know, things after that, you must still pass some more tests and sit down at a table of your peers, or actually your elders, answer some questions and see if you are ready to be a doctor yourself. There's a lot of things that you have to do to be so-called certified. And back when I was becoming an herbalist, some of the things that you learn about the verbal gymnastics and understanding that a certificate or a license is something, is basically a permit to do something by a competent body given to someone, and it has that, i.e., that underlying thought that to somebody incompetent, you know what I'm saying? But that's just a thought. There's a competent body that gives you permission to do something, which means once they give it to you at any point in time, they can snatch it back from you. That's why he said, and I heard him say in a lot of interviews, and this is not jumping on the bandwagon for anyone, it's just I've been listening to him for years, because I like to know about the educational part. I like the historical part too. I already know a lot about the historical part. I don't mind hearing that. But more than anything else, I listen to Dr. Umar Johnson when he talks about black male children being put on drugs in school, i.e. Ritalin and McCall ADHD and all that type of stuff, and how they push young black males into special education, and then eventually they get shipped off to jail, the prison system. And he breaks down. Nobody's talking about that. That's the funny part. That's how you know all of this energy, are you really a doctor, by people who've never gone to school themselves. And so I have to agree with him on that. This, once again, is not taking sides because I'm a fan. I'm not a fan of anyone except for the Most High and my parents. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of my mom and my daddy. You know what I'm saying? My grandmama, I'm a great big fan. You can hear that in my videos. People that have actually influenced me as a child to become a man. And after that, it's only the Creator, because only the Creator can bring me forth to become that great bull with horns out on this planet. And so when I say these things, once again, I get people sending comments like I put up a video about Juanita Bynum, and people, oh brother, you must be delusional. She's part of the what, man? I've been through that, man. I've been through that studying who's from the pimps in the pulpit and all that type of stuff, and I get it. But right now she's talking about something that can save people's lives, and you still wondering about if she's going by scripture or not. Once again, how many people are you saving? I'm seeing thousands upon thousands of black women, overweight, fibroids, killing themselves with food that she's helping to convert to veganism. So I don't care. about all of that other bull that you're on. The same thing with Dr. Umar Johnson. Man, I don't care. I don't care about no strippers. I don't care if he said he wasn't having sex and he got caught. Whoops, he is having sex with a conscious stripper or whatever that was going on. I don't care. Because none of you are talking about, is he really helping? Oh, he's only helping out women just to get in their draws. You know, man, don't even start with that. Especially this year, when we see how many people we can go down the list of very strong, prominent black men from all walks of life, sports casting, on the field, off the field, behind the mic. We got people that are losing everything because of sex and harassment in the workplace. Is he harassing black women like they are? I'm not hearing anything like that. Well, he said he wasn't having no sex. He said he was celibate, and lo and behold, I don't care. Whatever his reasons were, that's on him. Between him and her, so what? I saw the little tweets. I want them cookies. It was goofy, funny, but it's still a black man who still nobody's talking about what he does in the black community for these young children. Oh, he only doing that. That's his little thing to get with. Okay, but he's still helping the women. If that's his shtick, a lot of you are rappers, and that's how you get women. A lot of you are ball players. That's how you get women. A lot of you are politicians. A lot of you are preachers. That's how you get women. I don't want to hear that. Is he doing what he says he's doing when it comes to these young children? That's the only thing I want to know. He ain't no real doctor. He ain't certified. But does he really know what he's talking about when it comes to ADHD? And it's really when he's telling people, because what y'all don't get, what he really is in trouble for is what he tried to tell you when he was on those calls, and he's telling black women, okay, when you go in there, I just saw another video. He told black women, stop going up to these schools in your pajamas when you drop these children off. You're basically letting them know you at home by yourself. Because number one, he's right. Ain't no man gonna let you go out. You better put some damn clothes on. I understand women are more free spirited and things like that. You can tell when a woman is by herself. There's certain things she's gonna do, and a man is gonna check it. Not because we in control or whatever, but when there's a positive and negative spirit, when there is positive and negative energy, when there's masculine and female energy, it's going to be balanced out. When it's just female energy, there's certain things you're going to see. They're going to walk up into that meeting and not know there's a whole team against you. And when you leave out, you would have signed your child over to the state and without even knowing it. And that's what he was trying to help people out with. That's from the videos I've heard. I don't know what you've been listening to. He's been telling people, okay, I'm not supposed to say this. So he's right when he said it's Coombs snitching on him to Massa. He's right about that. I don't care. Let me tell you about the school. He got all this money. Dude, I don't know if y'all know how GoFundMe works. If if you don't reach the goal, you don't get the money. When they shut it down, that money goes back to people who gave it. Now, any other monies that went to like a PayPal account, things like that, if PayPal shuts it down, he don't get the money. I've had PayPal accounts shut down. You don't get the money. So what are people talking about? Where's the school at? Where's the school at? And every time I hear him, he keeps saying, now, how many people fact checking that? Did you go, when he's naming different schools he went to, and dude, the last video he said the school he wants more than anything else. The top of the list. They want $1.5 million for it, owned by 2 black men. Fact check it. I don't know. I didn't fact check it. I have no reason to think he's lying. All I see is the facts that I see a whole lot of people talking about him in the strip, as you can see from this image down here. Let me make sure, because you know I'm getting a little hype. I really want to spend too much time on this. But like you see right here, look at that. Dr. Umar be like, make it rain for my Afrocentric exotic dance school. He. You know how much time it takes to sit there and do that? To make little memes like that? It takes a little while, even if you really fast at it with Photoshop. It takes time to do that. How many people you saving? How many children? Oh, he got two. He going through stuff on his own. He got two children. He got all this. Dude, is he helping millions of black women and black men and black children and anybody else who wants to listen? Stop putting their children on drugs because these teachers are saying this child doesn't want to sit down. Is he really helping people? That's what I want to know first. Number two, the thing with the money, if you haven't given him one dime, it's none of your damn business. It's none of your damn business. Because you don't do that. When Bernie Madoff was doing his thing, you know why you didn't have anything to say? Nobody was coming to you. I'm sorry, I forgot to put this ringer on hold, guys. Let me hook this up. Nobody was coming to you. Nobody cared to ask you anything. Nobody cared to ask you anything because it wasn't for you. You ain't got no money. And Bernie, now anybody that Bernie made off of their money, they have a reason to complain. But you don't. You have no vested interest just to get some hits off YouTube. Like even me, I understand most people, y'all want to listen to this. I'm watching the little views and I'm just building back up my channel. People want to talk about Juanita Bynum. She's really fake, satanic. Nobody's talking about getting in shape and getting people off the fibroid and diabetic medication. Nobody's even touching that. So y'all into people. You into and talking about she's in the titles. You in the titles. There's somebody right now I'm talking about Juanita Bynum on the video, and all I'm saying is, what do you think about Juanita Bynum? And that is a question I ask. They haven't said one thing. Well, yeah, I guess that's a good idea to get people to eat right, but it's most likely that doesn't make up for all she's done. I don't care. Call her up and talk about if you have been harmed by her. If not, go from there, dude. Because I'm too intelligent with this stuff. I put up the video with the first Umar Johnson video last week, and I tried to show you, dude, open your eyes up. There's nothing different between Dr. Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, Boyce Watkins, and a whole lot of other people, and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. It's just technology is different. You get a chance to see people. Dude, Umar Johnson will blast any of you on the subjects he's a master of. There's none of you that can handle him. I was just listening to Saad Nerler talking about it, and he said when Umar Johnson was giving basically his background, just so you can know who he is and what he's about, he said he agreed with 95% of it. He didn't agree with everything, but 95% of them, he backed it up and said, well, yeah, he's not lying. And what I'm about to do, I'm gonna go ahead and play his the full hearing, because I see that's online now. People sneaking cameras in. They gotta know. Ain't that something? You take your ass to school and get some degrees. It don't really matter. And I can't really say I've been to 11 different universities. I have no degrees. I had a lot of financial aid problems, when I was going. Then this last time, I messed it up myself. This time, finally. But before then, I was just a young child going to many different schools, studying everything, becoming a master with no degrees. And I'm one of the ones that'll tell you, I'm still going to even go back. But you can't tell me it's about the paper when somebody has the knowledge and not just having the knowledge and degrees, using it to better people's lives. Now, that being said, let me move forward. Because, man, y'all are really getting me with this thing. I don't give a crap who he's sticking it to, who he kissing on. I don't care how many degrees. Is he really a doctor? Is he really certified or what? I've heard him explain it to you. You just don't get it because you've never been to school. He told you in certain situations, because he is not licensed to do certain things, he might have to have a person, if he makes any diagnosis, because legally he cannot diagnose something psychologically when he's in those schools. If he makes any assertion or recommendation, he might just have to go get somebody who is certified to look over it and sign off on it. I remember hearing him saying that. I know what he's talking about because that was one of my majors, psychology. I get what he's talking about because I've actually been to school for years. I am that person that loves school. I love to learn. I love being a master of many different subjects. And I knew I wasn't going just to get a job. I knew I was going to be building something on my own. And you're not going to see many people like him who've gone that far and are using it. Everybody remember Dr. Clark? Dr. Clark is self-taught. He had a 6th grade education from, I believe, Macon, Georgia. Started reading a lot of books, went to New York on his own. You know, I think he had a stint in the army and stuff like that. If you listen, he'll tell you his own story. But he was teaching professors and training professors before he had a degree. That's the vibration I'm on. It's about what you know and what you can do. Dr. Sebi included. Dr. Sebi doesn't have a doctor degree. I remember y'all was trying to come at Dr. Africa back in the day. But dude, Dr. Africa's the reason that got me deep in. That was the first book on African holistic health that I ever seen. It's probably still the #1 African holistic health book with that same title. Nobody else was talking about your melanin in relationship to vitamins and minerals and what vitamins are and what minerals are and what they do in your body. Then at the back of that book, he had a history of the drug trade going all the way back from spices and salt. I mean, it was one of the phenomenal books that had a little bit of everything, breaking down the health of giving your children fairy tales, Western fairy tales. You ain't no real doctor. He had to listen to that too. How many people did he save? How many people like myself that he helped to go into herbalism, holistic health? It's about who you helping and converting, man. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. And see, when you do that on that high level, you can become a doctor because people see what you do in the world, and you will get a doctor degree honorarily. That's what an honorary degree is all about. Ain't that the one they just stripped from Bill Cosby? When you go out into the world and you do something on a grand scale, you don't have to sit in class like everybody else. You've already shown that you've mastered on your own. And a lot of these institutions were like, man, we've given so many to so many people that paid, and they did the classes and they regurgitate the information, but they won't go do crap. You guys have written books, you saved lives, you've invented things. Hell yeah, we gotta, on behalf of this institution, we will give you the honorary doctor's degree from whatever that university is. Wake up. And this man actually did go and get the real degrees. But what y'all don't get, he can't, like any doctor. A doctor with a license to practice cannot say the things that a Dr. Africa can say, a Gary Null can say, a Kidiobia Wadu can say. They can't say it. They will get their license taken away, which is why you're about to hear the hearing he's in. There's certain things you can and cannot do. There's a verbal gymnastics game that has to be played, and he went a little too far. And you know what? At first, I gotta agree with him. He wasn't on their radar. Until the Negroes kept blasting so hard, we know you agree, you got a real degree. He gave them a little bit of information, and they started blasting those phone lines. They started blasting the Correra, the mail, the postal service to these institutions, and he was on that radar. Hey, I think we got a guy going around diagnosing stuff, and he doesn't have a license. It's not about having a degree. See, that's how dumb y'all are. It's not about having a degree. You can get a degree and do a lot of stuff. But in order to practice psychology and medicine and things like that, they want you to be certified because then you fall under a certain legal jurisdiction. When you're outside of that, they can and will come after you for making false claims and operating outside of their paradigm without a license. And they did set up a system by which you would get in trouble. And no, that doesn't mean that you're a quack and don't know what you're talking about. It just means that they got a system set up to check you if you go against them and you don't play the game according to their rules. So when he's giving information to these parents, and we're going to see it yourself. I haven't watched it myself. Let's get into it. You don't want to just hear me from it, but sorry about that. We're going to listen to this. Hopefully, and I know it's not going to be the last, but I just got to check a lot of you all. You all look like children to me. You're beneath me. Because the number one thing that's important, just like with the hidden colors, I'm not into that Mac lessons crap. But Tariq Nasheed, the hidden colors, phenomenal. Keep coming out with them. And then I find out now he was behind the 1804 Haitian documentary. Man, he gets props for that. All the other whack stuff, I don't care about that. Keep putting out knowledge. That's what I want. Make that happen. The rest of it's crap. I don't care who you sticking it to. Yeah, you know, he's talking and stuff, and then all of them look sort of silly when they go back and forth on each other. But you know what? They still are giants. When elephants fight, the grass get trampled. Y'all the grass. Trying to point the finger at what elephants are doing. Because you know what? They're going to keep doing what they're doing. If they take something away from Umar Johnson, something else is going to open up. It always happens that way. Because you know what? He's a doer. That's how my father raised me. Everybody talks about what doers are doing. See, all of y'all pointing the finger, putting up these little memes and stuff like that. Let's go up and down there. Umar Johnson didn't make any of these. I guarantee it. And he's right to say, well, you know what? I got more videos than anybody, and I don't even have a YouTube video. He doesn't turn down any interviews. That's how you put yourself out there. And it was only a matter of time. And it comes from what we can tell, yeah, it looked like Sarnetter was the one that was like, hey, brother, come to New York, and things just happen. And he's right to say, you didn't make me. And even Sarnetter said, yeah, I didn't make you. But, yo, I'm that impetus to help put you out there by selling DVDs all over the planet and stuff like that. So that's how it happens. Nobody's an island on their own. We're all human. We live on a human planet. It's about interactions. But people, stop sounding stupid when it comes to we are the number one community on this planet. We don't have the time. We can't afford to do the crap y'all doing. I don't give a damn. As long as somebody ain't molesting these children or something like that, hey, we need to take them out. If that's what's going on, then y'all can make y'all little videos, and then after that, you pull them off that pedestal. But he said he wasn't having sex. And look, they talking about the cookies. Grow up, kindergartners. Oh, do you really got a degree? Negro, do you have a degree? Did you finish high school? Did you? I know that the technology is here where you can jump on a YouTube channel and talk, but have you gone to school? And if you did, how many can you say you got 6 degrees, Negro? Negress? Oh, he talking about he a doctor. Dude, do you know really what it takes to go through a doctoral program? You don't, because you only have 1 degree. You don't have 1 degree. See, my peers are professors. Because I'm just gone to so many schools. And then after the people I began to date and really have relationships with were professors. I know what it's about. A lot of my friends, when they were graduating, I'm there with them, helping them write papers. And then be around somebody doing a dissertation? That's different from a 5-page paper. Oh, they expect me to type it. Man, shut your dumb man. Come on, okay. Now I'm going to press play. I'm going to go ahead and press play right quick. Y'all sound so silly. So this website right here, actually it was the conspiracy dude, CD, conspiracy dude. It popped up on my phone. And this site right here, conspiracypost.com, has the interview here, and I went ahead and just went to the exact link on YouTube, and it's on Roy Bradshaw's YouTube page. We're just gonna press play. It's 36 minutes. We'll go ahead and let it play. You got it.
The way in which the act, what the use of those words psychological, I understand why the comment was presenting it. Whether or not the exemption would apply has nothing to do with the particular. So we'll admit to you. Right.
Now, Dr. Johnson, in addition to speaking to groups around the world, you've also spoken on some radio shows.
Yes, sir, all the time.
And one of those is called the Breakfast Club on Power 105 out of New York City.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to show you a video clip. Appreciate some. Sorry.
You're watching The Breakfast Club. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy Angela Yee. Show me the guy. We are The Breakfast Club. And it's guest in the building, Dr. Umar Johnson. Peace and love, family. Glad to be back. Good to see everyone. What's on your mind today, man? All is well. Just came back from China and Japan. Okay. My first visits over there, speaking with the African China and Japan. Spent a week in Japan. So in America, we have a civil rights culture.
At the beginning of the proceeding, I admonished everyone that I would not tolerate the outbursts. If you cannot control yourself, please excuse yourself at this time. We will give you a moment. Because the parties need that respect. The next outburst, and you will be here. You will be dismissed from the proceeding. The parties deserve the respect and ability to hear what's going on in this particular case. Thank you. So if you need to excuse yourself, don't be embarrassed. I would rather you excuse yourself rather than being embarrassed. You may continue.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson, do you recognize the image that's on the screen there?
Yes, I do.
Is that a true and accurate copy of your, or image of your website?
Not my website, but that's a true and accurate image of the interviews that I participated in at the Breakfast Club in New York City.
Okay, all right. Now, if you look up at the top left-hand corner, it has your website naked there.
Let me clarify. I take that back. My web designer, he adds videos of mine, so yes, I don't have to check. They're probably on my website, yes.
Okay, all right.
This entire page you're looking at, all it's like 6 screens, that's all included on the website.
It appears to be.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. He updates regularly. I don't watch it all the time, but very likely, yes, I'm not objecting to that. I see the website.
And how about that CD that will?
Thank you. And that's your C3.
That's my, actually, that's my C5.
Okay, thank you.
Well, all right. Power 105, that's an urban contemporary radio station in New York City.
Yes, sir.
And its studios are in the AT&T building in Manhattan.
It's in Manhattan. I'm not sure the name of the building, but yes, it's in Manhattan.
And the Breakfast Club, that's a nationally syndicated radio show.
Yes, it is. Very popular.
Now, one of your interviews with the Breakfast Club took place on June 30th. Is that correct? 2017?
Probably, yes.
Are you aware that the Breakfast Club rated that interview number 9 among the top 10 interviews?
Yes, it should have been higher. Yes.
All right. And that interview right there that we're looking at is the interview that was rated number 9. Is that correct? The one on June 30th?
Yes, that was the most recent. Yes, yes. Interview number 3.
I'm going to try to get us to a specific time. Please bear with me. I apologize.
unemployment line. Why? Because the skills that we learn in college are not necessarily marketable to other black people. I'm a psychologist. And to
Do you agree that you call yourself a psychologist? Then?
Yes, I am. Certified school psychologist. And one thing I would like to add, although I understand that it's the state's intent to say that every time I refer to myself as a psychologist, that I am practicing beyond the limits or holding myself as something I am not. The irony in that is whenever I get interviewed, probably even at the beginning of this interview, I always state specifically what I am: certified school psychologist and doctor of clinical psychology. Thereafter, I may refer to myself as psychologist in conversation, but there is never a time when my credentials are not stated forthright. On my website, they're stated forthright. In the exhibit he just gave, it says it right there: certified school psychologist. So when you hear psychologist after I've already said certified school, then it should automatically make sense or be understandable that he's referring to a credential he's already made clear that he had. When I'm at work in schools, they don't call us certified school psychologists every time they refer to us. They call us psychologists. The school district of Philadelphia, psychologists. Chester Upland, psychologists. Anywhere the school psychologist is, we're called psychologists. Nobody regurgitates over and over certified school psychologists. So we're reaching here. Continue, sir.
So what you said is that on that show right there, you, at the beginning of it, told the audience that you were a certified school psychologist?
If not that one, definitely in 2 and 1. There's been 3 Breakfast Clubs, so I'm very familiar with that audience. And if you look at all 3 videos, yes, I state that I'm a certified school psychologist and doctor of clinical psychology. Particularly, I'm certain on the very first one. That's a third follow-up to the first one. And yes, I do say who I am and what I am.
So it's possible that you did not state you were a school psychologist.
In interview number 3, we would have to watch it. I can't say for certain, but again, because the audience is familiar with me, my community is familiar with me, my work is specifically to my community. I've been doing it for 17 years, 3 as a student. After 20 years, I can assure you, black people know exactly what my credentials are and what they are not.
Understood. The entirety of the interview is recorded on Exhibit 5.
The entirety of it, interview, this is interview 3 or 2?
This is 3. The orange dashiki is interview 3, the one to the right is interview 2. And I don't see interview 1 of it.
On the CD, would it include interviews 1 and 2? Only.
I have separate CDs. This one, C5, is the interview that we just talked about. The other interviews you see on the screen, I have a different CD.
So interview 1 will be included?
That's my understanding. That's what you guys represented, Mr. Kelly, correct? That interview 1 is on the other CD.
Excuse me. Is that interview 1?
That's
The one on the
interview
right?
3. Interview 3 in the orange.
Yes, okay, in the black and green.
Interview 2.
That's interview 2. I do not have the CD of interview 1. I'm happy to stipulate that the board or you could view that as a combo exhibit or as a response.
Is interview 1 contained on the website? Is
Yes,
it-
they're all on
They're
the,
all the
yes,
same?
yes.
Okay. So if I were to go to, it's Dr. Umar Johnson.com.
.com. Is one on the website? I'm not sure. I would have to see, but it would be no problem to get you one because I could just grab it off the internet.
You can also.
If I can email it or something.
Can you download it to a CD, burn it, or whatever the apparatus is called?
Okay,
CD, DVD, whatever.
I can have that done and mail it in.
What we
Or
can
how
do
you-
is, and that's what we're talking about at the beginning, so within 30 days,
Okay,
mail a copy into me,
okay,
CC a copy of the letter to Mr. Kelly indicating this is what it is,
Okay.
mailing it. You need a copy of it for your records.
Will the trouble be satisfied with whatever submitted for the record of the proceeding?
All right, and so then we'll keep the record open 30 days after today.
okay,
They'll allow you to mail it in, and then once you get that in 30 days, then I'll close the record.
yes.
So before we finish today, please make sure that we go back through that to make sure we have it we outline the proper exhibit number. Yes, because we're gonna do that shit, put it in the letter.
And you'll give me the exhibit number.
Yes, but make sure we discuss that before we walk out. Okay. All right, so you may continue.
Thank you. Exhibit C5.
All right, C5 is the CD of interview number 3. Dr. Johnson, any objection to this commission?
No, ma'am.
All right, it is.
So is this 2 and 3 or just 3?
That's just 3.
Just
Okay, just 3. And the reason I'm only asking that, because although I'm certain I stated my credentials on 1, I may have stated it on 2. It is possible I stated it on 3. It's possible it could have been stated on all 3, but certainly the first one. So I wanted to make sure you had all 3. So do I need to give you 1 and 2 if this is only 3?
It sounds like only 1 because Akama was going to introduce the other interview.
2 and 3.
That's what it sounds like.
I think we'll clear it up.
We keep going, okay.
No, I'm not clear. No.
So what we'll do is,
Well, hopefully
we'll
you
admit
will
this
be.
one. We'll admit C5.
Okay.
I'm just saying this is interview 3.
Gotcha.
Then as we proceed, I understand they're going to introduce another CD.
Yes.
We'll see what interview comes out.
Yes, sir.
Whatever is left, then you're going to provide by mailing in a copy of that.
Yes.
All right, so we'll hit C5.
Has another radio interview to refer to. Dr. Johnson, do you recall having been interviewed on a radio show called Stand Up Now on 1440 WMKM radio people?
Probably. I do 20 radio interviews a week.
Okay.
I'm sure.
And this is what number?
This is the exhibit C6.
This is your family. Welcome back to the family. Gospel 1440 AM, WMKM.
Does that look familiar to you at all?
Yes.
Okay. I've got the chase here too.
Stand up now, and we all must stand up now. I do believe that we do have Umar Johnson on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
All is well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you and LaDonna, so make sure you tell LaDonna, and I hope she's listening, that we thank you. Dr. Umar, tell us a little bit about who it is that you are, for those of us who don't know.
Certainly. I'm Dr. Umar. I'm a certified school psychologist, certified school principal. I'm in private practice here in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I evaluate children for special education, disability determination. I work with charter schools, public schools, superintendents, principals, special ed attorney advocate groups. I'm founder of my very own advocate group, the National Independent Black Parents Association.
Do you agree, Dr. Johnson, that you represented on that interview that you have a private practice in Philadelphia?
Yes, sir. And I will repeat again to clarify that a certified school psychologist can do private work doing the same things they do in the school, outside of the school if they're employed by a public school.
And do you agree that videotape that we just watched is available to viewers on the internet?
Yes.
How about who's permission to C6?
Any objections?
No, ma'am. Clarifying point for what purpose?
As I understand the follow-up question asked by Mr. Kelly, the issue being the private practice, but it also contains what you were saying, the certified school specialist.
Exactly. And are we clear here in going forward that the code does specifically state that a certified school psychologist employed can practice privately? Are we clear on that? That's it.
We will take notice of all the applicable law
Okay.
at the conclusion
All
of
right.
the evidence is need to apply. So with
And
that,
again, reiterating that although I have that right, all of my work is done in a school building. There is no private work done other than the speaking, or if I'm called to train, or if I'm called to do an independent educational evaluation in another district in a school in Pennsylvania.
understood. There was sort of a exception to the admission of C6 that you noted. It is on the record.
Okay.
It wasn't exactly an objection, but your statement that you made is obviously contained in the record. We're going to admit C6.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I ask one question, clarifying question? I noticed what the first exhibit was 2014. And of course we're here because I'm being accused of practicing psychology without a license. If this goes back to 2014, and I remember the first time I was contacted by an investigator from the Bureau of Professional Affairs, and Mr. Ernest Dixon, I believe his name was, an African American. I met with him at King of Prussia, in office there, his office, and he interviewed me. I answered all his questions. He shook my hand, and I believe he said, just be careful, but I don't see anything here. That was in 2014, 2015.
But what is the clarifying point?
Okay, the clarifying point is, if the state felt that I was practicing psychology without a license, why did they wait all those 4 years to say something to me about it?
I understand. I don't know if we're going to, that will
Okay.
come out
Okay.
throughout the course of the proceeding. And so I did not rule the motion because it is not testifying. What you just said is not considered testimony. You're not sworn in at this time. So I'm not going to rule the objection. It's not going to be considered testimony.
Or should it though, because that's a part of this that I met with.
It certainly can be, and then
Okay.
once the final press, when we come, you're sworn in, and that is where you want to go in your testimony. Now, obviously, he's going to voice an objection at that time, the one he just stated, regarding it being hearsay. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
He is sworn in now.
You have not sworn, he has not been sworn in. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, you are, because we are under oath, and you actually called us a common witness. So, therefore, his objection is that when you said, the investigator told me that was hearsay. And so, whenever you have a statement that is made outside of a testimonial atmosphere, then you have to have a certain exception for it to be admitted. So, you can't testify to what someone told you or what someone said.
Understood. Are investigators required to submit some sort of a summary or anything after they meet with someone for the purposes of an investigation? Should there have been a summary document or something that he would have been required to file as a result of me meeting with him in his office in King of Prussia?
That's for the Commonwealth to determine, because it's the Commonwealth investigator. I cannot think of any particular statute that says the investigator for the Commonwealth has to reduce all interviews to a written or recorded form. So I cannot, respond to that particular statement. But nevertheless, for the purposes of what we just went through, that portion of what the investigator said will not be admitted for proceeding. The date that you spoke about, when it occurred, obviously that is a consideration.
Next, the Commonwealth has exhibit C7, which is another recording from the Breakfast Club. That's on responsibility.
You're watching the Breakfast Club. Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building. That's right, Dr. Umar Johnson. Peace, brother. Peace. I love family all as well. Glad to see you back. Now let's get right to it, man. Like everything that's going on, what are the solutions? I mean, let's discuss the problem. So what are the solutions? All right. Before I state the solution, I have to challenge you on that. Because although we talk about the problems a lot of people don't understand how the problem operates. I'll give you an example. Take this education. Okay. People know the children aren't learning. They know black boys are not graduating. They know special ed is an issue. They know ADHD is a problem. But they don't know how this operates. They don't understand how the child goes from the classroom into the special education system. Okay. So they have to be
being taught how it operates, you know. So we understand that police genocide is a problem in the black community. We understand that structural inequality, disproportionality, i.e. racism, is a problem. But do we understand how racism operates? So I think that once you understand how the problem operates and manifests itself, you're now in a position to solve it. Someone comes to me for therapy. Before I do any therapy, what I do, a clinical history. Is there depression in your family? Have you been depressed before? Have you ever contemplated suicide? So I have to understand your background and how you've been living your life in order to solve your current everyday problems. So now, coming to...
Do you recognize that video?
Yes, sir.
Is that an image of yourself describing your private practice?
Yes and no, because I think the question is going to be about therapy.
Well, my question just is that an image of you describing your private practice?
No, sir.
It's not an image of you describing your
No.
private practice.
And I'll clarify why I can.
All right, go.
Okay. I am a therapist. I have been. Different organizations, Philadelphia Health Center, Children's Crisis Treatment Center. I was a therapist in my pre-doctoral internship in Trenton with the Department of Youth and Family Services, Ewing Residential Treatment Center. I did therapy while attending the Philadelphia Hospital of Osteopathic Medicine, my clinical practicums in the Center for Brief Therapy. I have been a therapist for most of my career. Do I do therapy in private practice? Of course not. Certified school psychologists don't do therapy. We do school psychological counseling. But have I been a therapist? Absolutely. I've done it for years. And the two principal organizations that I've done it from, although I have since resigned, was the Children's Crisis Treatment Center, where I was an outpatient therapist for children and families, as well as the Philadelphia Mental Health Center, where I did some of my doctoral clinical practicums. And I was asked to stay on and continue being a therapist. In Philadelphia, we have a very large behavioral health system, which is filled with master's level and PhD level therapists who are not licensed, who work under the supervision of a licensed psychologist. So yes, I have been a therapist. And no, it is not included in my work as a certified school psychologist. Outside the school is therapy. In the school is school psychological counseling, and that's also in the state code.
Call to the admission to speak. So,
Interjection to the mission of C7.
No, as long as we're clear on my clarification.
Understood. Well, admit it. This is that interview number 2, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, admit it.
this will mark as Exhibit C4. There's the original. Moving that into evidence. You need to double that to read it through again. I know it's.
Okay, you could just explain it to me. I don't remember.
Sure, it is. Well, certificate of manifestation, it's the document that proves the costs.
Okay.
The third page, is the.
I agree.
Of the investigators.
Yes, ma'am, I share.
Dates, where they did their work, their hourly rate, and the amount of hours that they put in.
Okay.
And which in total.
Yes, sir.
So, that is signed by, the person who is the head of that bureau, and what he has attested to us.
Yes, sir.
And she has attested to is, certified by the secretary.
Yes, sir. One clarification earlier when I said I met with a gentleman at King of Prussia, because I'm seeing two names here. I believe it was Ernest Dixon. It could have been Jesse Bennett, just as a clarifying point. There's one other. The second point, and I'm not guilty of anything, but when I look at these costs, how were they computed given the fact that all we see is YouTube clips and a website. And it certainly don't cost $2,400 to look at a Breakfast Club interview. So these investigative costs are coming from where? How is this being calculated?
I understand Dr. Johnson's question. I don't think that his question goes to the admissibility of the document. It may go to the amount of charges that he wants to contest them. But as far as this document being admissible under the general rules of administrative practice and procedure, I believe it is.
So his response is that under the law, there are two different categories of ways of paying things. Whether something is admissible, like whether or not it actually meets the criteria under, say, the rules of evidence to be admitted as an exhibit. And so he's saying that the document, there should not be anything to bar its admissibility because it's a certified document. Whether or not the actual cost, as is outlined, whether or not I should give any weight to the amount listed in the certificate and attestation, that is something that you can contest. So whether or not that document actually is a certificate and attestation, unless you have an exception to that, and want to admit it, whether or not it actually should be $2,400 odd, then you can actually contest that through your testimony and through what interaction you have had with an investigator. So, other than that, the actual amount of cost, do you have any objection to C?
And not of the amount of costs.
I will admit Commonwealth's C4. Mr. Bell.
Dr. Johnson, you also have a number of YouTube videos where you talk about issues of race and education.
Yes.
Can you estimate about how many videos you yourself have put on YouTube?
Dozens, yes, sir.
More than 100?
Not me myself, but there's more than 100 videos of me that have been uploaded of others who have attended my lectures. The videos I would have uploaded, most of them would have been from my Tuesday morning Black Parent Teleconference, where I give advice to parents on issues relative to special education and mental health of Black children, and some tutorials that I do, and other commentary I do on general issues affecting African people. But most videos are uploaded by others, not myself. But dozens for me, definitely dozens, because I do it every Tuesday.
Thank you. Further questions?
All right, so if this were another witness, you didn't have the opportunity to cross-examine that witness. I'm assuming you don't wish to cross-examine yourself, so I think you should respond to the type of question that he asked, so that when we come to your case in chief, if you wish to do so.
Okay, so if I want to ask some questions, is this the time or later?
Well, he's not a witness.
But questions about the case.
Questions about his case, about
This
exhibits that
case.
have been specifically items that he has presented so far.
Yes, and the charge itself.
If it pertains to what has been presented so far, you can testify to that at this point.
Okay.
If you want to go into the applicability of the exemption, then that would be more so for your case in chief. If we wanted to, I'm not sure if you're going to call any additional witnesses today.
No, there's no more witnesses for his case in chief.
Understood. So they're about to rest their case.
Okay.
So I'm about to turn to you anyway to
Okay.
say, begin your case.
Okay.
If you want to do it that way, let's make it smooth procedure.
Okay.
All right. So your exhibit C1, C2, C4, 5, 6, and 7 have been admitted. There are no other exhibits that you presented. All right. With that on the rest, we're going to turn to Dr. Johnson. Before we actually move into your case, Dr. Johnson, Mr. Blake, can you welcome. Dr. John's testimony that individuals have been reporting in Pennsylvania, although it's open to the public, we cannot report this case.
Dr. Umar Johnson, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, we live. Harris, everybody get their camera out. You got 60 seconds. Your Facebook, your Instagram live, whatever you want to do. Did the attorney make it? No. Attorney Oxy didn't make it? No. All right. All right. Brothers and sisters, this is Dr. Umar Johnson. We are live, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, capital city of Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, for Dr. Umar Johnson versus the state of Pennsylvania. The case today was about a charge against me, accusing me of holding myself out as and practicing as a licensed psychologist without a license. The evidence that they showed, and I could not believe it, and everybody here saw it, the evidence that they showed were 2 clips from my second and third Breakfast Club interview and a screenshot from our 2014 website. Let me say this again. This is the evidence. 2 clips from my Breakfast Club interview 2 and 3 and a screenshot from our 2014 website. They show no evidence of me having conducted a single evaluation, a single therapy session. They can't find any evidence of me having ever performed any work as a clinical psychologist except under the supervision of a clinical psychologist. The case was bogus. It was nonsense. The closing argument was that I do therapy with adults. Everyone who knows me knows I specialize in what? Children. And all my work is school-based.
And you never said you was licensed.
And I never said I was licensed. This is being done, and by the way, I asked to know who made the initial complaint against me. They said that it's confidential. It's confidential, and I have a right to know what it is or what it was. That is nonsense. I have a right to face my accuser. That is nonsense. And unfortunately, brothers and sisters, I don't think it was one complaint. I know it wasn't. Because every time investigators contacted me, they said they received yet another one. And I believe coons as well as Caucasians helped me in this situation. But I also believe that the State Board of Psychology of Pennsylvania is jealous of the fact that an unlicensed certified school psychologist with a doctor of clinical psychology can have the type of international reputation that they do not have. And the reason we have to fight is because if we let them do it to any one of us, they'll do it to all of us. That's right. Get together. And for those of y'all who have cameras, put that camera on all these brothers and sisters who came out here in the cold to support Dr. Umar Johnson. Because it's cold. This is Pennsylvania. It's ice. It's snowing. These brothers and sisters forsake their jobs, their livelihoods, their children. They got their own financial issues, as we all do, but they cared enough about Dr. Umar Johnson to come on out here. Brothers and sisters came from the West Coast, from the Midwest, from the deep South. Parents came with their children to support me, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you. And even if one thing I don't like about this is the decision gets made by the state board who are not even present. The hearing officer is only the mediator. So she doesn't make the decision. She makes a recommendation. She don't make the decision. She makes a recommendation to the State Board of Psychology, who you know can't stand my guts. So I'm saying all that to say, no matter what the outcome, we still gonna fight. Yes, sir. We got a school to build. Yes, sir. Douglas Marcus Garvey Academy, 82119. Black people will have the last laugh. 215 Raleigh Street, brothers and sisters. That's where we going now. 215 Raleigh. R-I-L-Y.
Hello everyone, I'm Dashawn Farad. You're tuned into Right and Exact. We're leaving the hearing here at the State House in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. First of all, just to clarify, this was not a trial, this was a hearing to determine if Dr. Umar Johnson was practicing, as he said, clinical psychology illegally. But just to let you know, for those of you who are questioning whether or not he has a doctorate, all throughout the hearing, the presiding officer as well as the prosecutor referred to him as Dr. Johnson. I want to say that again. They referred to him throughout the whole hearing, the presiding officer as well as the prosecutor, as Dr. Johnson. So we're going to begin to wrap up. We're going to meet at another place. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm Dashawn Farad here in Harrisburg. You're listening to Right and Exact. Don't forget to talk to your board. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well as Dr. Samari Swager's channel, Right and Exact. That's right and simple exact.
Okay. Hopefully that clears that up for you guys. Now you see, he gave his on the person that recorded it. You got a chance to see him. It was breaking up a little bit at the end. Please, I like to give him the credit. As you see, while I was going through this, I did pull up a couple of things I was just able to pull up, you know, showing you a couple of degrees. And of course, people, oh, it's just fraud right here. It is not really him, you know. If he was not a doctor, you would have heard them try to blast him and make a mockery out of him in the beginning. And like he just said, they have to refer to him as a doctor because that's not the problem they have. It's only the Negroes and people that are on the outside complaining that are saying he's not a doctor. That was never really the problem. They're trying to get him for practicing without a license, and he always said he was. He thought about it because if you really listen to him, I listened to him. He said, "I'm thinking about. I might get a license. I may not." But he knows once you get a license, they got you. You can't go out there really protecting. You can't go and get a license and then say you don't believe in Ritalin, because you'll get your license taken away. That's like a doctor speaking up against inoculations and vaccinations. They really can't do that without putting their license at jeopardy. You will not be certified. That's one of the things that comes with certification. You sign paperwork saying you're going to not go against the system. They already have a system of standards. There's a standardization that you have to follow, that when you do follow it, and there's a reason for it. So if somebody tries to sue you, they will protect you as long as you can prove that you went according to the systems and guidelines. Every single doctor, they work within guidelines and what they call standards, certain standards of practice. It's like that for everything, every certification. And then that board, they're the ones that help to protect you. They have legal gangs that work on your behalf. So anybody operating outside of their clique, you know what I'm saying, they will come and get you. I'm a painter by trade, but when I go to a new city and I just start painting, the painters can get together and call their own board, and there are people from their board that will come talk to you. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? That's why people, when you go as a painter, electrician, or whatever like that, you go and find the hall near you. And I know I'm making it sound Masonic and everything, the hall, but I can't think of the term. You know, the oh man, I can't think of it. You know what I'm saying? The people that's supposed to fight on your behalf when you're at work. They are the people that will come and say, "Hey, you're practicing around here. Are you bonded? Do you have a license to paint in this area? Are you certified to work in this area?" You know what I'm saying? You have to go and pay to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then usually what happens though, you go pay them and you have to sit your butt down and they will tell you what jobs are in the area and they send you out on those jobs. That's usually how the things work. Same thing with doctors and things like that. Even if you have your private practice, there are certain standards of procedure that you have to follow. and you must stay within those guidelines, lest you have to sit in front of that board again, and they will decide if they're going to take your license away. And he's sitting in front of, you know, like they said, this is a preliminary to see if he has to sit in front of the board to decide what they're going to do with him. Most likely, they might give him a fine. That's most likely what might happen. He might get fined, but of course, because the thing is, they got to make a decision. He doesn't look like the type you're just going to fine and then you try to take credentials away from him. Then it might be a problem, and he might use his influence to really wreak hurricane havoc on their butt. So they might just give him a fine and let him, use some of those lecture fees to go ahead and pay the fine, and they might just leave him alone. They don't want it. If that's the most, and he's right, because I was listening to it myself. I was like, is that the Breakfast Club? It sounded coonery. I'm sorry. It sounded very silly. It sounded comical. Like that's the first thing they start off with. That let me know when they started off with the Breakfast Club intro, that let me know, oh, they ain't got nothing. That's the best they have. I was waiting for them to have, documents from some mother that said she was told not to put her child on Ritalin, and he suggested otherwise, and he wasn't supposed to do that. Or some school that said he came into the school and didn't have a clinical psychologist that's certified, didn't have them to sign off on some paperwork that he signed or something like that. And he signed it, and there should have been another signature of somebody certified. It wasn't anything like that. You hear the Breakfast Club. so it is. He's right. Some internet stuff, going on. Got into court. They pulling up some Charlemagne the God. You know what I'm saying? Whatever is all on that breakfast show. That's ridiculous. And once again, he doesn't have. Well, we're not going to tell you who brought the charges up. He does have a right to know. I want to know. I want to know who sat and made these calls. I want to know who I'm dealing with. Is it somebody that I see all the time? And then he should have that, because if it is one of those big names that they keep going against, keep going against him, he should be able to say, aha, I was right. This is who sicked them on me. But as you see, it doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon. But this has been Lorenzo McCoy, Professor Lorenzo McCoy, and yes, self-declared professor. No degrees from any institution. I profess it myself, because I do heal people. I do get people in shape. I do get people off of diabetic medication. Now, I'm saying all of this still to say this is for educational purposes only. Please consult with your physician for anything that I say about health and making money. You know what I'm saying? If these things are not typical. You may not make $1 million yourself. So when you get this information on business and making money and making wealth, these are not typical. You probably won't make a thing. But put in the work, and I guarantee you're going to make more than zero if you put in more than zero worth of work. We have to say those things, and that's what they're trying to get them on. I can't come out here and I can't even tell you that a certain herb really does what it does. We have to be very specific. And that's something I did learn. I give him homage. A lot of people, Jehudi Ma'ara, his name is mud in a lot of places. Oh, he's a fake, phony, and all this type of stuff. But one thing that I did learn from him, taking his course, his 101 course for becoming an herbalist, a lot of things I already knew, but I was curious myself. Why not pay money to someone who's already doing it? I believe in that. I believe in getting coaches. I believe in a trainer getting a trainer. But one thing he always talked about is the verbal gymnastics. You must know the kung fu. You have to be like Bruce Lee. So the Jeet Kune Do of verbal knowledge when it comes to law, so that they don't come and knock at your door and saying that you are purporting to be able to cure people, because you can't really say that. You'll get in a lot of trouble. You will go to jail. And once again, I want to remind people, may he rest in power, Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi. And I don't think he has a doctorate degree. And he was in engineering, actually. Started off, I believe, in the military or something, working on a submarine or something like that. to get his, but I think he did eventually go to school for it and stuff like that. But I don't believe he got a doctorate degree and did a dissertation and everything like that. But he's healing people, and he went to jail because he put in the newspaper that yes, I can cure AIDS and all these different diseases. They told him to cease and desist. He said no. His mama told him, if you listen to any Dr. Sebi videos, this is not, I'm not making this up, and everybody should already know this story. If you don't, you should look it up. He was that Umar Johnson during his day. You know how many doctors was getting mad at that? We got this quack talking about he can cure AIDS with some herbs and stuff, talking about alkaline and acid. That is so ridiculous. The problem is they had to let his ass out of the jail because he was able to bring more than 70 patients. And now here's the thing, 70 patients who the so-called real doctor said had AIDS, had herpes, had diabetes, had lupus, and all of these other so-called incurable diseases. They came with documentation before they even went with him and say, this is what my doctor says I have. Then he made all of them go back after they were cured, and that same doctor had to write on a piece of paper, which helps you to document what you're saying. This person no longer has it. He was able to show more than 70 of those in court. They had to let him go. This is the Dr. Sebi story that most people still don't know. They don't want that out. So that's what I'm telling you about. Even Dr. Umar Johnson, they're very slick. And when I say they, the people in power, they don't want to, they have to be very careful not to make him too popular. If they don't have enough on him, he might just get a fine. And that's it. They're going to say, well, doctor, now you know, you need to just be very careful not to say this. Maybe you need to put this on your website. If you put this on your website, to say that you're not certified, and you need to be able to say this before every lecture. And also, we would like for you to just pay this little fine, $2,500, whatever. I think that's what they were talking about earlier, maybe a fine. And then he's gonna keep it moving. If they try to take the stuff from him, man, he's good. I think he's just gonna go even harder. He will be like Malcolm X. He will be like Khalid Muhammad. Say, oh man, I have nothing holding me back now. Then he can tell people he won't be able to go into the schools, but he'll be able to say, hey, come to me. He can set up his own website, say, I'm going to tell you what I know. There's nothing they can say to me now. I'm going to tell you what I know about all of this type of stuff. Come to me. I'm just going to tell you, I can't give you the legal advice to tell you what to do, but I'm going to say, do your research, and I'm going to show you the research that I found. I mean, he can go even harder. So they have to think about that. That's what big governments do. They don't want to make a martyr out of anyone because it stirs the masses up even more. They sort of want to hide it under the rug. So when they probably thought we're going to spank him right quick, make him look stupid, but after they finally look, okay, he is a doctor. So they have to treat him accordingly. See, as you see, no matter, even the so-called coons, they are coons that sick the courts on him. When he's up in there, you didn't see them trying to talk down on him. They have to give him that proper respect. And he was very cordial with them. And like you say, he wasn't backing down at all. So all you did was just make him look even better. You just made him look even better. So it's cool. It's all tomfoolery. It's like what I always tell people. All humans are just children. Don't get it twisted. No matter how intelligent you are, no matter how mature you are, you're just a mature child. Humans don't live long enough to actually become adults. In my own understanding, you don't live long enough to sit back and watch a mountain grow and a mountain turn back to dust. There are trees that are 3,000 and 4,000 years old. Do you understand that? You don't outlive trees. There are turtles that are more than 230 years old. You didn't know that? So don't get it twisted now. You don't live long enough to really get that mature. So yeah, he does look a little childish, fighting Sarah Sultan Seti, the coke sniffing dude, the conscious cokehead. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that because he said himself that he sniffs coke or whatever. And even Tariq Nasheed, the Mac pimp, you know what I'm saying? Watching them all go back and forth, and Boyce Watkins and stuff like that. Boyce Watkins, he, for the most part, you know, he stays a little bit older, more mature, but you can hear him snapping on people and stuff like that. But I give them all respect because they're doing it. I keep falling off going to get a regular job myself. I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to be doing in the field of healing people and showing people how to make money online. So why am I going to sit here and point the finger at them? They're doing it. That's why you all are talking about them. They are doers and you're not. You need to become a doer too and watch how people come after you. You're not going to please everybody. There's going to be somebody saying you're doing it wrong. You just keep doing you. Dr. Umar Johnson, kudos to you. Keep doing it. Tariq Nasheed, keep doing it. Dr. Boyce Watkins, keep doing it. Keep being a doer. Jehudi Ma'atrah, keep doing it. Get them products out, bruh. Because you know what? And I did make a video about that. I got my products. They over gave me. So from my relative perspective, they all good with me. So that's just how it goes, guys. Dr. Savior, rest in power, and anybody that's keeping his business going, keep on doing it. Do it and do it and do it and keep doing it well. Dr. Africa, keep on doing it. You're doing it. I don't give a rat's ass if people have a degree or not. If you are healing people, you're a doctor. Doctor means teacher, for those who don't know and did never bother to look it up. Look up professor and look up doctor, and you tell me if I'm not a doctor or a professor. This has been Professor Lorenzo McCoy. I got to go pick up my children from the library. But before that, go ahead and give you guys January the 8th daily affirmation. Hopefully for today, this is enough of news that you can't really use. What's going on with Dr. Umar Johnson? All right, peace and love.